I'm going to start out by saying that there is more content on the recording of Pink Floyd's The Wall than I could ever possibly cover. So I'm just going to give a general overview as required by the course. And without any further ado, let's get into it. Now, this is the 11th studio album produced by Pink Floyd. This album centers on the life and upbringing of the singer Roger Waters. And to get one of the requirements that the teacher talked about out of the way, there is nothing known about what microphones were used other than it's probably what was industry standard at the time. There's not much data on that. There is a lot of data on what recording studios were used, however, and that's what we're going to talk about because that is where all of the drama stems from in the recording process. Now, to start out, this was a 16-track album, and the drumming performed by drummer Nick Mason was a 16-track master that was cut to a 24-track master after recording at the Britannia Road Studios. In France is where the album began production for real, with Super Bear Studios being used for the instruments and Roger Waters recording his vocals, specifically at Studio Miraval. And I probably butchered that pronunciation. At the same time, orchestral arrangements for some of the backing tracks were being arranged by Michael Kamen at CBS Studios in New York. This entire process took about 7 months, and this was the first phase of production. From January to July in 1979. After this, however, things got a bit rocky because Roger Waters wanted to change production location over to LA, which the producer Bob Ezrin wasn't a big fan of, and he started showing up less and less to recording sessions because of it. This wasn't the only problem with the recording of this album, however, because the keyboard player, Richard Wright, was having a lot of personal issues at the time with his wife and his life and depression. So he started lashing out due to all of the moves because the production facilities that Roger Waters wanted to use changed pretty much on a daily basis, and some things were canceled at the very last minute. These studios changed very frequently during this time, and Wright was not wanting to be with the band at all. He was very upset with Roger Waters, and he was fighting him near constantly. Eventually, he just stopped showing up to recordings very much, and when he was there, he wasn't very happy about it and wanted to be out of there as soon as possible, which tacked a lot of months onto the recording process that shouldn't have been there in the first place. In the end, the album released in November 1979 to critical acclaim, and that is the end of our overview.